What's going on, everyone? So, unless the Lakers pull off a trade between now and the actual start of the season, which is absolutely a possibility, and not just any trade, particularly a center, the Lakers are looking at Christian Wood, Jaxson Hayes as the primary backup, right? Anthony Davis, even if the Lakers trade for a center, Anthony Davis is likely going to start at center with LeBron James at the 4, and then that would slot Christian Wood and Jaxson Hayes and the backup roles. And there's a lot of questions of, can these two truly fulfill and provide what is needed in a backup role? Now, Anthony Davis likely going to play, 30 to 35 minutes a game at the center position. He very well may spend a little time at the 4 alongside Christian Wood, alongside Jaxson Hayes, but primarily he's going to be looking at, probably my guess is around 30 minutes, maybe 25. So if that happens, then there would be, essentially 23 minutes at the center spot to be split between these two, or maybe it varies depending on the specific matchups. I've talked about how I would most of the time go with Christian Wood. I think that there are pros and cons with both of these players, and I want to go over those pros and cons, but also kind of go over and address the whole, are they too small and can they function well enough in the backup role? Now, look, I would love to go get a sizable center. Don't get me wrong. If the Lakers could go pull off a trade for a sizable center, I'd do that all day, right? But we only have what we have, right? And right now we have Christian Wood and Jaxson Hayes. Again, hopefully some center, Walker Kessler, or maybe, around the trade deadline, maybe we end up pulling off a Valanciunas trade or something like that. Sure, right? Get a bigger body center. I'm with it. But we have these two. And I do think that in comparison, when you're looking at size, right? I think a good kind of example, more so for Jaxson Hayes than Christian Wood, but I think Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively and their impact and how well they played for the Dallas Mavericks is a really good comparison for what, again, more so Jaxson Hayes can provide. Because, again, the Dallas Mavericks were just in the NBA Finals, right? And they did it on the backs of Derek Lively for the entire season, and then Daniel Gafford when they got him via trade around the trade deadline. And both these guys were excellent for them. Both these guys led the league in field goal percentage. Daniel Gafford went to Dallas and didn't miss a shot on 20 attempts or something like that. It was something crazy like that. But a lot of it was derived from just the creation from Luka as well as Kyrie. Well, the Lakers, they have a LeBron James. They have an Anthony Davis that can, make the play and also draw the attention like a Luka and Kyrie. Also, the Lakers have D'Angelo Russell, who, again, one of the best plays in all of basketball last year was a D-Lo pick and roll. So he's a guy that can make plays and put our centers in position to have success and throw the lob and all that stuff. Austin Reeves can even operate and run the pick and roll. He was another one as far as percentage-wise goes in those types of actions. So I look at what Dallas was able to do and how effective they were able to make Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, and I do think that, again, particularly Jaxson Hayes can really make his mark in that regard. Now, I'll jump into Jaxson Hayes here in a moment. I want to kind of go over Christian Wood because the Hayes part will be a little longer. But obviously, again, Christian Wood, when you look at him compared to, Derek Lively and a Daniel Gafford, right? Daniel Gafford is, and Derek Lively are both bigger and longer than Christian Wood. Christian Wood is, 6'8", right? He's 6'8", 214, where you look at Daniel Gafford, he's 6'10", 234, and then Derek Lively is 7'1", 230. So they have about 15 pounds on him, 15 to 20 pounds on him, as well as, 2 to 3 inches plus of height that is added to that. So again, you kind of look at Christian Wood. And it's like, okay, size-wise, and again, that athleticism and just that lob threat isn't there. But Christian Wood is also much more versatile offensively than both Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, right? He can actually stretch the floor. He can actually be a guy that you can dump the ball down to, and he can just go to work. He can operate in the mid-range, right? He can be a legit 3-level scorer. And Christian Wood himself said he's back with a vengeance, right? So take his word for it. But to me, Christian Wood is a guy that I look at and I see what Daniel Gafford and everyone was able to do, and I'm just like, Christian Wood should be at least a double-digit a night guy, depending on the minutes and depending on the role. Now, there is also an argument to just play him at the 4, where that may end up being the case, where they might maybe he's just LeBron's backup, where he is better suited at the 4. But I also think he's a real mismatch at the 5, right? Yes, he's 6'8", but he's proven to be a really good rebounder. And he's also proven that, he's got a 7'3" wingspan, so that's very versatile. Now, as far as like the rim protection, stuff like that isn't there. The size to really hold his own on the defensive side, obviously that's a little concern. Now, he is really good defending out on the perimeter. He's very versatile defensively because he can switch out on the perimeter. He can defend in the pick and roll, but just being the sole rim protector, he's just not really that. Now, he can block shots and protect the rim if you funnel the offensive player to him. But if say, Reeves gets beat off the dribble and now Christian Wood's on an island with the opposing offensive player, that's where he really struggles, right? Where Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, they had the foot speed, the length, the quickness, and were 2 floor running bigs that, could be more versatile in that regard. So I do think Christian Wood has the potential to be potentially even more impactful than what Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford were, just because simply, again, he can create for himself, where those two guys with Dallas, they needed to be created for, right? They needed Luka and Kyrie to create for, where Christian Wood, you can just dump the ball down to. But again, he, yes, is too small, in my opinion, for the backup center position. I do think some matchups, you can absolutely get away with it. I think some matchups and on some nights, he could slot in and be just fine, and you don't have to worry about it. But I do think that there are going to be some matchups where it's just like you really can't play Christian Wood, or if you are, you're playing him at the 4 alongside an Anthony Davis or alongside a Jaxson Hayes, and you're kind of having that versatility. But next up is, again, Jaxson Hayes. I really want to dive into Jaxson Hayes because, again, you look at Derek Lively, 7'1", 230. You look at Daniel Gafford, he's 6'10", 234. And then you look at Jaxson Hayes, and Jaxson Hayes is 7 feet, 220. Now, this is based on last year, so we don't know if Jaxson Hayes has gained any weight or, gained any muscle or anything, at least at the time of recording this video. So we don't know if it would be nice if he could put on another 10 pounds or so. But Jaxson Hayes is very similar to Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. He's actually good in the pick and roll when you actually have the pick and roll defense. Pick and roll defense. He's also good in the pick and roll on the offense side, but he's good at defending the pick and roll. That's what he was really known for coming to the Lakers from the Pelicans. Now, it also helps when you have defensive guys out on the perimeter, which the Lakers didn't have all season, so he didn't look as good as he did with the Pelicans. But he is a guy that can defend in the pick and roll. As far as shot blocking goes, he at times can. We've seen him be very good, very active. He is absolutely active, high energy, using his athleticism, using his foot speed. He moves well, right? Another floor running big, just like Gafford, just like Derek Lively. But he doesn't have the discipline, right? He's not very disciplined on the defensive side of things. Now, again, that could change. That could adjust, right? He is putting in the work and, playing alongside Anthony Davis, right? I mean, I'm not saying that he can't get there. It's very possible that he gets there. But based on what we saw last year, he will gamble at times, or just he doesn't know how to just go straight up at times. You'll see him, he kind of gets into foul trouble, and it can kind of fall apart quickly for him. But he is a guy that, look, he had some big games for that one Celtics game without LeBron and Anthony Davis. I mean, Jaxson Hayes was incredible. It was like, man, if he could play like that regularly, Lakers might be the best team in the league. I mean, this dude was out here, just dominating both sides of the ball and was really good. Now, again, he's a guy that needs setup, right? He's a guy that would benefit from a D'Lo, from a Reeves, from a LeBron. But I do look at Jaxson Hayes as that comparable player to a Derek Lively, to a Daniel Gafford. And I do think that Jaxson Hayes can kind of play a real similar role and impact the game in a lot of the same ways, right? And even just like on the surface, right? Now, Daniel Gafford averaged 11 points, 7.6 rebounds. So we'll just say 8 rebounds. We'll round up again 2 assists, right? You look at Derek Lively, he averaged 8.8 points, but we'll round up, say 9 points, 7 rebounds, 1.1 assists. Jaxson Hayes averaged 4.3 points per game, 3 rebounds, and half an assist. But if you kind of go down the kind of list and you look at like the comps and you look at just the type of minutes, right? So sticking with Daniel Gafford averaged 21.5 minutes per game for the Dallas Mavericks. And again, the stat line 11-7. And then you look at, say, a Derek Lively, and when you pull up Derek Lively and his comps, he with the Dallas Mavericks last year averaged 23.5 minutes per game, right? But if you look at Jaxson Hayes and you see what Jaxson Hayes minutes look like, he only averaged 12.5. So basically, Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford essentially averaged double the amount of minutes that Jaxson Hayes averaged. So if you were to essentially double Jaxson Hayes' production, then he's giving you just a hair under 9 points per game, 6 rebounds, 1 assist, a steal, and a block, right? And shot 72% from the field, where Daniel Gafford, he shot total from the field 78%. And then if you look at Derek Lively, he shot a total of 74.7%. So again, if you look at these three and you kind of adjust the minutes for Hayes that Lively and Gafford got, their numbers are nearly identical, which is why I don't necessarily think... I'd like Jaxson Hayes to, ideally put on 30 pounds. I just don't think that that's going to happen. Now, could he put on, 10 and basically get around to Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford's size? Yeah, it's very possible. But I do think even at his current size, let's say he is the same he was last year, right? 7 feet, 220, right? I do believe that he can be a very impactful, significant piece for the Lakers this upcoming season. I think he can kind of give you a lot of the same stuff that Lively as well as Daniel Gafford gave Dallas. Again, it's all about understanding, it's all about positioning, and it's all about opportunity and the role that he plays, right? Him being that high energy hustle guy, I think can really go a long way for the Lakers. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Agree with my points? Do you disagree with my points? What do you think of Christian Wood and Jaxson Hayes? Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.